familiar face, somebody we haven't heard in a while. Garrett Blakesslee joining me, light heavyweight number 7 contender of Power Slap. How have you been?
I've been all right. I've been all right for the most part. It's been a little hectic, but getting through it.
Absolutely. I mean, the light heavyweight division continues to roll on. Wolverine is at the top of the division, continuing to move forward. We see a lot of new entries coming into the division. What do you think the overall state of Power Slap is?
It's a little crazy. Some of the calls are a little crazy. I've been watching the last few ones. That flinching with Allen was absolutely astonishing that he didn't get called for like 90% of the stuff that he did. But leave that up to the judges, everybody says. But I don't know. It's the rankings are fair for the most part. I know Logan's making a giant statement. That's fucking dope. He climbed up real quick, knocked Russel Rivero the fuck out. That was dope to watch. But yeah, everything's solid for the most part. I can't wait to get back in.
For sure. I mean, if Allen flinched like that on you, what would you be doing up there?
Probably something I'm not legally allowed to do, but
Too funny, too funny. Have you ever eye on anybody in that light heavyweight division you'd like to take on?
I was always waiting for fucking that call for Turp, honestly. But I never really saw that day. I know way back before I even fought TJ, I was supposed to fight Russell. That was supposed to be set in stone a long time ago, but he actually called and canceled on that right before the fight was supposed to happen. And then I think TJ happened. I had that whole thing with my hand. Everything got kind of hectic. I fought TJ, and that was disqualification. So honestly, between probably Turp and Rivero, I've been waiting for that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, Turpin seemingly is going to heavyweight now. I mean,
Yeah, he can't cut.
You're sitting there with a 2-2 record. You've got 2-loss streak at this current moment. So I think that next one's probably a make or break for you in a lot of ways, to be quite honest. I mean, you came on the scene, 2 victories over Ronald Stanton and Cody Belial, and then lost to TJ Thomas and Luke Simon. Russel Rivero can make a lot of sense. I mean, if you think about it, Russell losing to Logan, I think, accordingly, he's obviously going to drop down the ranks a couple spots. I think he's sitting there at the number 3 spot right now. Obviously you'd probably welcome that match again. And do you think that could be a get right match for you that could really put your name on the map?
Yeah, 100%.
So you'd welcome it.
I welcome anything.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? There's a lot of talk about Hawaii sometime in 2026. Could you imagine taking on a Hawaiian in Hawaii?
That would be my favorite. I'd love to decimate that. Keep it in the States,
For sure. Does it interest you at all to travel overseas to the Middle East?
I would consider it again, but I don't know if you heard from the last time, the whole fiasco I had on my way back kind of sucked. I drank a few double shots of Jack and Coke in Germany. They wouldn't let me on the plane because I smelled of alcohol. And I was already sitting there waiting on the gate, and they were like, "Yeah, no, you go over here." I had to sit on a bench with the worst hangover, worst headache of my life for about 10 hours on top of the 10-hour flight that I already did. So I was in an airport for at minimum like 30 hours that whole entire journey, and I was sitting at 6'2" in economy. So I don't know personally if I'd want to do that again. I would be interested in it. I love the food over there. I love the culture. I love all that stuff. But economy, dealing with that stuff again, I don't know. It's something I'd have to consider.
Yeah, actually, I forgot Power Slap 11 that you were on over in Abu. My bad.
Yeah, Saudi.
Too funny. But a little bit more personal wise, like weight wise, you still in and around that 205, or where are you kind of at these days?
Once again, like I said, unlike some people that we won't talk about, I always sit right around 207. 207, the max I get at is around 210, 212. But right now, I just weighed myself. I was 207.
Mm-hmm. We've seen you back in the gym again. Obviously, that's what kind of caught my interest. What's the sight set on? Like what do you want to kind of do here in the next little bit to prep yourself for your next fight?
I'm always sticking with my regular gym routines. The best thing I personally loved about getting back in the gym, I spent 30 days, if y'all don't know, in some county. And the food was beyond horrible. As far as protein to carbs, I think in total per meal, I probably got about 2 spoonfuls of meat in each sitting, and everything else was just straight flour, noodles, everything like that. All my pores were clogged. I felt like shit. But on top of that, I did have a lot of energy. I don't know if you guys ever heard of decks of cards. You take a deck of cards, and there's 52 cards in the deck. So you take the deck and you slam two down, and you do that many push-ups. And aces, you can change it to whatever value you want, whether it's 25 or 50. Some people were doing 100. I generally stuck right around 25 for the aces. Altogether, I think the deck is about 500 something if you use that value. So you flip the two down, you do your push-ups or whatever you want to do. I was generally doing push-ups, sit-ups, and some burpees and stuff like that. So we were polishing off decks in like 20 minutes. So my max when I went in there, my max push-up in one motion was like 40. I got it up to about 75, 80 per motion in just 1 month. So that was a pretty big thing as far as that. But like I said, my pores were clogged. So as soon as I got back to that sauna in the gym, I felt like $1,000,000. It was amazing. I've been eating just straight meat lately. It's
Yeah.
felt great.
Yeah, well, I
I'm
mean,
really free.
you found the silver lining. You can do more push-ups now than you ever could.
It helps a lot with the chest and all that motion, pushing motion and everything like that.
Yeah.
Doing that
Did
type
you,
flies.
did you find yourself having a bit of, a bit of a clan, like a workout clan together when you were in there? Were you kinda leading the group or what?
Yeah, it was between me and like old school and everything. I made a few good friends in there, and honestly, it seems very hard to make friends nowadays. But honestly, I made more friends in that place than I did in a long, long time. So I've got two solid people that I talk to since I've gotten out of there, and it was nice to have some people in there that I could actually talk to.
That's cool. Getting in there, I'm sure it probably came up at some point that you compete in power slap. How was that received?
They all loved it, and they wanted to. I was teaching everybody what to do and everything like that, and they were all taking like their little notes. And I signed a few papers, traced my hand for a few dudes. They took it back to their families and everything. And I was just kind of showing them the ropes, telling them what like you really need to do to if you were to try and pursue something like that, and the different strategies I used. So that was cool to do. Everybody really enjoyed it.
Amazing. So you were recruiting for power slap in the clink.
Yeah, there's two people in there that would give everybody in my division a run for their money. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Obviously the holiday season's coming up and stuff like that. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas. You looking forward to, a little bit of downtime as well?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I got a son being born in January, so that'll be my first son on top of my daughter. So that'll be that'll be awesome. I'm happy I'm out for that.
Awesome, man. Congrats on that. The very best from Slap News. We wish you the very best for your family throughout the holiday season. And it's great catching up with you.
Nice catching up with you too, brother.
Take
See
care.
you later.